Madison County officials involved in a pilot program, Hometown Strong.
We want the people of rural North Carolina to benefit and to understand that they are being heard.
In Texas, a suspect has been captured following a police shooting yesterday. While responding to a situation at a Home Depot, 2 Dallas police officers had been injured, as was a security guard working there. CBS News correspondent Hannah Doba has more.
He was picked up after a lengthy car chase involving officers from various law enforcement agencies. The 2 police officers were called to the store to help an off-duty officer with removing the man from the store.
Cleanup efforts are underway this morning following last night's torrential rain and flash flooding, which caused massive trees to topple across yards and roads throughout the Charlotte area. Some of the low bridges in Watauga County were flooded on Tuesday after all the rain. The Pender County Sheriff's Office has arrested a student for allegedly assaulting a teacher at Topsail Middle School last Thursday. On Tuesday, a secure order was issued against the male student. You're listening to NCN News.
First place in election reporting, first place in editorials, another honor for news enterprise reporting. Carolina Journal earned all 3 awards from the North Carolina Press Association. When Carolina Journal watches government, people pay attention. Available each month as a free newspaper, every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your #1 source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
The feel of the open road. No obligations. Just you, your classic car, and freedom from it all. No! The nightmare's over. You use Stabil 360 ethanol treatment to protect your dream machine from harmful ethanol effects like gum, varnish, and corrosion. Rest easy, car guy. Your engine's running smoothly year-round. Stabil 360. Freedom for your engine and you. Available where fuel additives are sold.
The Trump administration takes another hit over its attempts to end the DACA program. Over to CBS's Vicki Barker.
A federal judge has said the administration's argument that the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program was unlawful was, in his words, virtually unexplained. He's ruled that protections for the so-called Dreamers must remain in place and that the government must resume accepting new applications. But the judge stayed his decision for 90 days to give the administration the chance to better explain its reasoning for canceling the DACA program. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
A woman arrested after authorities said she tried to abduct babies from neonatal units across North and South Carolina, speaking out to the allegations against her.
I'm not that person. I'm not a person to do that. And it hurts. I mean, it really got to me.
New Hanover County Regional Medical Center police charged 36-year-old Linda Everett with the abductions. One of the lead actors on a popular adult TV cartoon speaks up about his controversial character.
The solution to a controversy over an Indian character on The Simpsons?
Something that started decades ago and was applauded and inoffensive is now politically incorrect.
Apu himself is weighing in.
Thank you for coming. I'll see you in hell.
Hank Azaria gives voice to the Quickie Mart owner on the Fox cartoon. He tells The Late Show Stephen Colbert,
I really want to see Indian, South Asian writers in the room, not in a token way, but genuinely informing whatever new direction this character may take.
When the show debuted in 1989, Apu was the only South Asian character on TV. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Federal wildlife officials say the only wild population of endangered red wolves is unsustainable and could be wiped out within a decade. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
All you ever need in news, weather, sports, and the best blend of the oldies is right here on the mighty 590 WCAB
News. I'm Sherry Preston. The president's travel ban goes to the Supreme Court today. Here's ABC's Lana Zach.
The Supreme Court will hear arguments about the constitutionality of this third iteration of the ban, which prevents travelers from Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Syria, Yemen, and government officials from Venezuela from entering the United States. The court is expected to issue a ruling before the end of the term in June.
A new ruling on DACA in a Washington, D.C. federal court. A judge now says the Trump administration has to keep protections for Dreamers in place and start accepting new applications. Jurors deciding the fate of Bill Cosby at his retrial on sexual assault charges start their deliberations today. The ABC's Mark Remillard is at the courthouse.
There are some key differences between Cosby's first trial and this one, however. Jurors have heard from more women this time who accuse Cosby of sexual misconduct, an attempt by the prosecution to paint him as a serial sexual abuser, while the defense has doggedly gone after the integrity of Cosby's accusers, saying that questioning an accuser is not shaming a victim.
After 2 days of meetings with President Trump, French President Emmanuel Macron will go to Capitol Hill today. In an address to Congress, he is expected to push for the U.S. to stay in the Iran nuclear deal. A suspect now in custody after a shooting that left 3 people, including 2 Dallas police officers, badly hurt.
A Home Depot loss prevention employee and an off-duty police officer were holding a shoplifting suspect and called for uniformed officers to take him into custody. When the other officers arrived, the suspect, in the words of the police, produced a handgun and shot the 2 on-duty officers and the store employee.
ABC's Jim Ryan says cops arrested the accused shooter after a chase through Dallas. Amid new questions about Admiral Ronnie Jackson, the president's nominee to head the VA, Senator Jerry Moran says,
I think the proper thing to do is not to reach any conclusions.
Sources tell ABC News Jackson accused of creating a hostile work environment and improperly prescribing drugs. Market futures pointing down after the Dow closed off 425 points. You're listening to ABC News.
It's time to join the millions of people using Zoom video conferencing. Turn any size conference room, huddle room, or executive office into a Zoom room with flawless HD video, crystal clear audio, and instant wireless sharing. It'll even work with your existing hardware. Start your meetings with a single touch or use Zoom's new voice command feature. Hey Zoom, start meeting. Huddle happy. Visit zoom.us to set up your free Zoom room trial today. That's zoom.us. Zoom video conferencing.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Don't go bankrupt. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 866-844-7344. That's 866-844-7344.
Embattled Attorney General Jeff Sessions will go before a congressional committee today. ABC's Andy Field says he's expected to face a lot of questions.
With President Trump suggesting his Attorney General Sessions and Deputy Rod Rosenstein aren't doing their jobs, a Senate Justice Department budget hearing could end up with questions on everything from FBI investigations to Robert Mueller's job security. The Senate committee's actual mission to make sure the Justice Department has the money it needs to prosecute crimes and protect civil liberties. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
A Navy sailor under arrest accused of stealing grenades off a ship. ABC's Alex Stone has the details.
Gunner's mate second class Aaron Booker allegedly stole 20 concussion hand grenades, according to federal prosecutors. They say he was working on the guided missile destroyer, the USS Pinckney, in San Diego when he helped himself to some grenades. 18 of them have been found. 2 are still missing. Booker has been arrested in Illinois and is expected to be transported back here to California, where, if convicted, he could get up to 10 years in federal prison. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And from Louisiana, who tried to steal President Trump's tax returns by using the president's Social Security number, is expected to be sentenced today. 23-year-old Jordan Hamlet faces up to 5 years behind bars and a $250,000 fine. He was caught by federal agents just before the election and pleaded guilty in December. This is ABC News.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? The IRS has special programs in place that can eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. With a call to ATA, you can stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more, call ATA to see if you qualify. 800-805-1055. That's 800-805-1055. 800-805-1055.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Well, with springtime here, head on over to Oakland Feed and Seed for the things you need. Things like grass seed and garden seed, 10-10-10 fertilizer and 17-17-17 fertilizer. Oakland Feed and Seed carries Kentucky 31 and Rebel Turf and 5-star blend grass seed. That'll look good, won't it? They'll weigh up garden seed by the ounce or by the pound. How much do you need? They'll weigh up grass seed by the pound. Whatever your needs are, Scott and his team at Oakland Feed and Seed will try their best to do it for you. Need strong weed killer? Get it by the quart, gallon. And this Kills All 2.5 gallons is only $49.99. Get rid of them quick. That fish box, 100 count, $19.99. Why don't you come check Oakland Feed and Seed out and check prices? All your animal health needs, from dog shots to wormers. And don't forget to pick up some fire ant control, too. They have what you need at Oakland Feed and Seed, Oakland Road, Spindale, locally owned and locally run.
We could see some patches or pockets of fog here and there early today. Otherwise, we'll range between mostly cloudy and at times partly sunny. Should be mild with a chance of some scattered sprinkles and showers, maybe thunder in one or two spots. Highs will reach about 68 to 74. We'll call it fair to partly cloudy tonight with lows in the upper 40s to low 50s. Then on Thursday, more clouds than sun. We could see a few areas of rain later, especially toward the southern foothills. Highs about like today. I'm Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
Well, the fog has lifted on this end of the county. It could still be prevalent wherever you are, so please watch out for that and drive carefully. 53 degrees right now, warming up to 71. No rain in the forecast today. Mostly clear, partly cloudy, some degree. And we're getting rain back in the forecast on Thursday night, Friday night, and pretty much a little bit of maybe early Saturday morning, then clearing out here again for the weekend. Sunday, mostly sunny, highs around 73 with only a light wind. Now, the wind may be gusting today about 13 miles per hour, but not a bad day at all considering all the rain we've had. I think it's time to settle down, don't you? 7 minutes after 7 o'clock, we welcome you to the morning wake-up call hour number 2. We're glad to have you. We'll be checking in with the phone calls here in a few minutes to find out what's been happening around the neighborhood. Right now, though, I have these death announcements. Hazel Elizabeth Tony Early, 84 of Forest City, died Sunday, April 22nd. The funeral service will be held at 3 o'clock this afternoon at the Race Path Baptist Church with Reverend Randall Cooper officiating. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. Mrs. Early will lie in state 30 minutes prior to the service. Visitation was held last evening. The Paget and King mortuary in cremation service is serving the family of Hazel Early. Joseph Ray Shires, age 33 of Spindale, died Thursday, April 19th. A service will be held at 11 o'clock today at Crow's Funeral Chapel. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to the service. Crow's Mortuary is serving the family of Joseph Ray Shires of Spindale. Patricia Ann Morgan Crane, 75 of Rutherfordton, died Monday at Carolina's Foothill Hospice. The family will receive friends at Crow's Mortuary this evening from 6 until 8 o'clock. The funeral will be held at Shingle Hollow Congregational Holiness Church at 2 o'clock Thursday. Mrs. Crane will lie in state 1 hour prior to the service. Graveside services will follow the worship service in the church. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Patricia Ann Morgan Crane. Shirley Walgosi, age 77 of Ellenboro, died Sunday, April 23rd at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. Funeral services will be held 2 p.m. Saturday at the Harmon Street Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the Cleveland Memorial Park. Visitation will be from 1 until 2 prior to the service. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Shirley Walgosi. Pearl Virginia Whitmore, age 91 of Forest City, died Thursday at Fairhaven Home of Forest City. A graveside service will be held at Eternal Hills Memorial Park at 11 o'clock Saturday, May 5th. The family will greet a friend's graveside after the service. Mike Mahan's funeral home and cremation service is in charge of the arrangements for Pearl Virginia Whitmore. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. The complete information on these and others as they become available to us can be heard today at 11:30. And then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report right here on WCAB Rutherfordton. Braves game this evening again with the Reds. They lost to the Reds in 12 innings last night, 9-7, but they'll be at it again tonight to get revenge.
Well, the New York Times published an article the other day that must have made every liberal reader orgasmic. Silicon Valley billionaires are remaking American schools. Some of them are offering grants to encourage innovation. Others, like Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, are taking a more profitable approach. He's got software in 100 schools which supposedly puts kids in charge of their own learning. and turns teachers into facilitators and mentors. Obviously, if his software takes off, it's a huge market and paid for by taxpayers, not Zuckerberg. Now, while these rich and influential titans of technology are focused on education, millions of students are serving as de facto beta testers for their ideas, as the Times puts it anyway. That's sure to bring a smile to every liberal. I mean, this has all the elements. Rich, successful, progressive tech gurus on federal subsidies giving back to the community, beta testing their kids. But in reality, this is a damning indictment of the state of public education. With all the money American taxpayers have poured into it for decades, we ought to have the best education system in the world now, not years in the future, and we shouldn't need these tech titans to do it. Instead, we have massive institutional failure, an education system that has been run into the ground by liberals and their unions in the first place. And unless that's acknowledged, new technology, no matter how great, will not turn it around. My good friends, you have heard me wax eloquently for years now about Mahindra, the world's #1 selling tractor. So when you hear Mahindra, I'm sure a hardworking, reliable, and bright red tractor is the first thing that comes to mind. But my good friends at Mahindra have an all-new utility vehicle, too. It's called the Mahindra Retriever, and it's built from the ground up right here in America. And listen to these specs. 83 horsepower engine, 60 mile per hour top speed, 2,500 pounds of towing capacity, and a 3-year warranty. So hurry in, see your Mahindra dealer for a test drive, or learn more about Mahindra tractors and the new Retriever at MahindraUSA.com.
Take advantage of rock-bottom prices and test drive a Mahindra today at East Rutherford Equipment in Ellenboro, or visit EastRutherfordEquipmentLLC.com. That's EastRutherfordEquipmentLLC.com.
All you ever need in news, weather, sports, and the best blend of the oldies is right here on the mighty 590 WCAB.
Veterans, this is retired Army Colonel Greg Gadsden. In life after the military, it's our duty as veterans to have each other's back. If you recently filed a VA disability or pension claim and have been asked to go to a VA claim exam, I want to make sure you know what to expect. Go to va.gov and search compensation and pension exam to get the information you need for the benefits you've earned. Your VA claim exam. Know what's next.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs.
I told my friend about Olmsted Plumbing, and boy, was she happy.
What did she have to say?
I told her to call 245-7302, and they would get right out there.
And did she say she would
I told her to ask around. Homeowners, builders, and everybody likes Olmsted. Eric and Chad Olmsted and their team understand the homeowners' needs, and I like that.
They have an inventory of replacement parts and specialized equipment and tools for any job.
I told her that, too.
Well, what was that number again?
245-7302. That's 245.
Yeah, I got it. 245-7302. Olmsted Plumbing.
Get ready for those hot summer months driving with a stop at RS Speedy Lube, Railroad Avenue. The Express Inspection Station gets you back on the road and keeps you legal. Speedy Lube has 2 lanes to serve you, gets you in and out in no time, vacuum your car while the oil is being changed, air conditioner checked, transmission flushed, wiper blades replaced if needed, even a top-of-the-line car wash, all at RS Speedy Lube and Inspection Station, Railroad Avenue in Ruth. Take care of that car and have a safe trip.
He kept bears as pets, yet in 1 year alone he supposedly killed 105 of them. He was a friend to the Indians, but he was known to scalp more than his share of them. He was a frontiersman in buckskins. He was also a member of the United States Congress. Was this man a schizophrenic? No, he's just one of our early American heroes. Born to a poor family in 1786, at the age of 12, he ran away from home to avoid being spanked. And from there, the life of Davy Crockett became a legend. Assisting Andrew Jackson, he assured victory in the Creek War of 1817. In 1827, this frontiersman, dressed in buckskins and a coonskin hat, went to Washington as a member of the House of Representatives. But these accomplishments alone wouldn't have served to make Davy Crockett the icon he is today. What did it was a New York play that opened on April 25, 1831, 125 years before Walt Disney and Fess Parker made their movies and television shows about him. The play was called The Lion of the West. The hero was a frontiersman named Colonel Nimrod Wildfire. Colonel Wildfire was a thinly disguised, highly exaggerated portrayal of Davy. The play was followed 2 years later with a biography entitled Sketches and Eccentricities of Colonel David Crockett of West Tennessee. People really didn't care that it was more fiction than fact, for Davy Crockett, like Paul Bunyan, was symbolic of a young, growing, dynamic country. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Why, he killed him a bar when he was only 3. 16 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Hump Day Wednesday morning. Let's get started with calling around the county to find out what's been going on while we slept. We stopped first at the Sheriff's Department, and Officer King is on the phone with me right now to give us that update. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good. How you doing today, Jim?
Doing great. Tell us what's been going on.
In the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Department responded to 105 calls for service. There were 6 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 188 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, Susan Toney from Icebox Drive in Ellenboro reported larceny of a motor vehicle. It was a Isuzu truck, and same was also recovered last night. A Blake Martin from Morrow Drive reported an incident of assault by pointing a gun and communicating threats. A George Landrum from Rooster Ridge in Lake Lure reported a financial card fraud. And a William Cochran from Brock Drive reported assault and battery. And on the assault and battery report, Laura Byers from Maple Creek Road was charged with assault and battery and received a 48-hour hold for domestic violence. Celeste Downing from Florence Road in Forest City was served with failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $4,100 secured bond. It was 4 counts of failure to appear. Arnold Beaver from Brock Drive was served with a warrant for child care in a sex offender home, received a $30,000 secured bond. Daniel Macon from Boiling Springs Road in Mooresboro was served with warrants for possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver a Schedule 6 controlled substance, maintaining a place for controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia, received a $20,000 unsecured bond. And a Emily Macon, also from Boiling Springs Road in Mooresboro, was served with warrants for possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver a Schedule 6 controlled substance, maintaining a place for controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia, and she also received a $20,000 unsecured bond. And Nigel White from Icebox Road in Ellenboro was arrested and charged with domestic violence protection order violation and received a 48-hour hold. And that's all we have for the reports.
Officer King, I do appreciate that report, and you be safe out there today.
Thank you, Jim. Have a good one.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
18 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Wednesday morning report. We'll get back to the next phone call right after this.
It's time for you to test drive the affordable, fuel-efficient Ford Fusion from Sisk Family Ford in Forest City. Family-owned Sisk Ford can put you into the car you want with a payment plan you can appreciate. If it's a truck you want, get the Ford truck that's breaking records in sales. Ask about why the sales department is being bragged on with each and every sale that they make. They love your business at Sisk Family Ford, and it shows. New and used automobiles and an award-winning service department makes Sisk Family Ford the choice for so many. Step up to Ford today. Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City.
Here's Lindsay now with the 911 Communications Center report. Lindsay, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good.
Good. Tell us what's been going on.
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 communications has processed 309 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 32 EMS, 15 rescue, under law enforcement, 105 Sheriff's Office, 62 Forest City, 4 Lake Lure, 17 Rutherfordton, 74 Spindale. Under fire calls, Bills Creek had a motor vehicle accident, as well as Bostic and Hudlow. SDO had a structure fire, assisting department Sandy Mush and Cliffside, and that is all.
Thanks, Phil. Excuse me. Thanks very much. You have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And it's 20 minutes after 7, and we'll call over to Danieltown in just a moment. I've been telling you good things about Henson Building Materials, more than just a lumberyard anymore. They got so much going on over there for the professional contractors and for the professional builders and the home repairers, to those of us who are novices. Here's something else brand new and excited about telling you about Henson Building Material now is a dealer of Georgia boots. They have several styles in stock, and they can order any style you want, so you know about those. So get over there and make Henson Building Material your stop for the Georgia boots. They're in stock right now, and they probably have your size and style. If not, they can certainly get it for you and have it in no time. If you're looking to change light fixtures or do some repairing on your kitchen cabinets, or you're a do-it-yourselfer, then Henson Building Material is your place, because you've got professional help over there to answer all your questions, point you in the direction of what you need. This might work for you. Try this and see if this is going to be what you need. If not, let us know. I like that kind of help, don't you? Henson Building Material is there. They are noted for their quality customer service. If they don't have your item in stock, it'll surprise me, but if they don't, they can certainly get it for you. Doing a great job for a lot of folks. Folks are real pleased with the work and the inventory at Henson. Call them at, you go out and see them between the hours of 7:30 and 5, Monday through Friday, 8 to 12 on Saturday. That's Henson Building Material. If this old voice holds out here this morning, we'll go to the next phone call. That'll be Ruby Taylor in Danieltown. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
Well, the fire department had one call, and that was to a structural fire, and they were assisted by Sandy Mush and Cliffside. And on my birthday calendar, I've got Alan Mathis, Billy Bass, and Zeb Connor having birthdays. No peace, people, have a nice day. And the signs are in the bows today and going to the rains tomorrow, and that's all I got, Jim.
Thanks so much, Ruby. Enjoy your day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, if you're always looking around for something for those floors, you don't go to an automobile repair shop or a used car dealer, or a plumbing. You go to a carpet store or a hardwood floor store. You go to somebody that's what they do. You go to the professionals. You know, people who sell plumbing products and things like that, they may not understand the carpet and floor covering business, but they'll sell you something. So go to somebody that can help you understand the product, understand the history of that product, and the longevity of it, and how it can fit best in your home. That'd be Southern Carpet. Long-lasting traditional quality. Bruce hardwood, Appalachian hardwood, ceramic tile, Armstrong vinyl, and on we go. Tarkett flooring. They got a storehouse full of things that'll look good in your home. Isn't it time to redo the floors? 1512 West Main Street is Southern Carpet. That's where you'll find them. Here's Steve now up at Rumbling Ball. Steve, I thought maybe you got washed away yesterday. Good morning, Steve. How you doing?
The waterfall's coming down.
Good morning, Steve. How you doing? I thought you got washed away yesterday.
I tried to not have that happen to me. Yeah, but I had a prior commitment, so I had to miss work yesterday with all that fun with the dealing with the rain after rain. We did get 3 3/4 inches.
Whoa!
So that's pretty good douse.
But you got more waterfalls up there than you usually have, too, don't you?
I do. I was just looking at one up here on the side of the mountain there. I call it Rumbling Bald Falls, but it's coming down pretty good. And yesterday, I understand it was even doing, of course, a little more active. The plants at the garden group club put in are doing real well. They're all settled in now with all this rain, so that worked out well for that purpose. So we're good there, and thankful that that happened in that way. It's 53 degrees here this morning, so it's nice and mild. A lot of folks starting to go fishing now. So there's a lot going on here. We're starting to get a little more active. It's a little warmer. So a lot of folks come out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
This Saturday, the White House Community Center, they're doing one of their patented country breakfast buffets, and that's at 5408 Painters Gap Road in Union Mills. Adults still $6 and children 6 to 12, $3 and under 6 get to eat free, and they got everything in the world that you want on a breakfast menu. I wonder if they serve ketchup. Some people like ketchup with their eggs and hash browns. I'm one of them, actually.
Are you really?
I am. But anyway,
I've seen a lot of people do that. Put ketchup over their hash browns. It makes a good, different kind of flavor.
I actually put hot sauce on it even in the morning.
Really?
I got to have my hot sauce.
Texas Pete?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Made in North Carolina, by the way.
That's right. That's right.
If you read the fine print, Texas Pete is made in North Carolina. So anyway.
At least it's not made in New York City.
Yeah, I know, right? I remember there was a commercial that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Some time ago, I don't know what the product was, but that was a funny commercial. But anyway, we're on go now, so we're happy that the rain's over. I think we got some more tomorrow, though, don't we?
We do, yeah. Start back tomorrow through Friday.
Oh boy, I gotta spray my roses tonight then. So it's we're good to go.
Well, you have a great day up there and enjoy it, and I will see you back here bright and early tomorrow.
I'll be here.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, bye-bye.
27 minutes after 7 o'clock here on WCAB. It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide daycare services for an aging parent or loved one. Rutherford Life Care can be just what you're looking for. Rutherford Life Care offers adults a safe and fun place during the day for medical monitoring, nutritional meals, and daily activities. Rutherford Life is licensed by the state of North Carolina Division of Aging. Call them today and let them answer questions you may have. That's 288-1697, 288-1697. Rutherford Life offers a staff of professionals who show the love and compassion that you entrust your loved ones to. That's Rutherford Life Care Services, located on Thunder Road, Spindale. Again, that phone number is 288-1697. Well, if you've had some erosion problems with all this rain, your driveway's eroded out or something along the backyard, you need some help with that erosion problem, come to Farmer's Friend, Feed, Seed, and Supplies. They've got things to help you with that. They got some cross ties, some timber there. They have plenty of mulch available by the bag or scoop. If you're looking for a tiller, they're now the authorized dealer for Mary Tillers and authorized dealer for Mantis Tiller. They have those in stock, and you can register to win a Mary Tiller just by stopping by Farmer's Friend, Feed, Seed, and Supply, and register. No purchase necessary for that. Get your propane tank filled. Propane grill tanks, 20 pound, only $10.99. That and much, much more is waiting on you at Farmer's Friend, Feed, Seed, and Supply. That's 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton. 28139 is the zip, of course. The phone number is 287-3272. And here's Bob Hodge now reporting to us from the Hudlow Fire District. Bob, good morning.
Well, good hump day morning.
Yes, sir. Is the fog lifted up your way?
Well, it's lifted a lot what it was earlier this morning, so I believe it's going to clear out here, and maybe that sun will pop out in a little while.
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah, we thought it will be today, but look like some more rain move back in tonight again, but not like we've been having. But yesterday even, man, sun come out. It was pretty there for a while, and then last night it just poured the rain again. So
I know, it's crazy weather.
That's crazy weather. That's right. But looked like after this round, looked like the weekend's gonna be real pretty there. And warming back up there, and that's going to be a nice weekend coming up. And Jim, up here with the fire department's been pretty quiet. Yesterday we had a call to overturn vehicle on Rock Road, but there wasn't nobody in the car or nothing when the fire department got there. And everything else running along pretty quiet up here. want to say happy birthday to Kelly Pritchard this morning. And also, Oak Springs Baptist Church will be having their yard sale this coming Saturday morning. And that's from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. They'll have clothes, antiques, small appliances, books, and that proceeds for the Churlin Mission Project. And then on Sunday morning, they'll have the Sunday morning service at 11 o'clock across the road from the church at the park. And they'll have the Royal Quartet, and the preacher will be Chris Fox. And, Jim, that's about it up here this morning, and I hope you have a good day.
Bob, I appreciate that. I hope you do, too, and enjoy it, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks, Bob.
Bye-bye.
And you can catch Bob most afternoons with Tom Green with the Afternoon Call-Around Report as well, reporting from the Hudlow Fire District. The entire team at Crow's Funeral Home and Cremation Services can help you with options available. They will help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved one. During this time, it's important to turn to someone you can trust and depend on. Crow's Mortuary and Crow's Mortuary and Crematory has a long history of trust and dependability. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory. That's 286-2304. Well, Gregory's is certainly a place I'd recommend to my friends and neighbors if they're looking for a place to eat for good quality food service and great service as well. Wait service is terrific, and the food's always good, fresh, coming out of the kitchen. Whatever you order, you can always expect it to be tasty and good. If you're having a big event coming up, you need somebody to cater that for you, I'd recommend Gregory's Original also. Just call them at 287-2171. Talk to Greg about what you have in mind. He'll make suggestions and work around your budget, and you'll have a successful event with good food if you depend on Gregory's Original for that. Now, to go out for a lunch or dinner, you can do that Monday through Friday, 11 to 9. Then on Saturdays, 4 to 9. They're located in the Park Lane Plaza in Rutherfordton.
The Recliner Center is happy to introduce new styles of Spring Air mattresses. Some come with the cool gel that you're going to love. Remember the days when you could flip your mattress? Well, Spring Air is now offering the flippable mattress. Check out these for a really great night's sleep. The Recliner Center is needing to make room for some new styles of lift chairs, recliners, and sofas, and you're going to get some special deals on the floor models and extra inventory in the store. Now, you always know you get the best deals in town at the Recliner Center, and now's the best time to go shopping. Check on the inventory of new recliners, sofas, and lift chairs coming in. Now, some of the styles have a new water-repellent fabric. Water beads up instead of soaking into the fabric. Leave it to the Recliner Center to offer you the best choices and best prices. Ask to see the new wall hugger style furniture. Hours are Wednesday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturday 9 to 2. The Recliner Center on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherfordton.
Well, it's always fun to have the secretaries honored, the administrative professionals honored here. A lot of names were sent in to us, and it was always sad to those that didn't, whose name didn't get chosen, but it's fun for those who did. Here are the top 10 yesterday, as the drawing was taking place live. Tracy Hill, representing Dial in Spindale. Angie Schottel, administrative assistant at Friendship Cars. Holly Pruitt from secretary at Crestview Baptist Church. Ruth Sams, administrative assistant at the Rutherford County Building Inspector. Lacey Bowl, I guess it's Bowl, B-O-A-L, North Carolina Works Department of Commerce. Also, name was pulled yesterday. Wendy Cope with PSU Personnel Services. Shelley Owens with the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office. Ann Parton with the Center for Intercultural Training up in Union Mills. Debbie Toms, administrative assistant at the Office of Chief of Police in Rutherfordton. And Denise White, who's also over at Arledge Law Firm. Those are the top 10. We'll be going to lunch with them on Friday. Got some great gifts lined up for them, and one of them will win a pair of Braves tickets for this upcoming season. So congratulations to those, and congratulations to everyone who was nominated. Your boss thinks a lot of you to send your name in, so we appreciate them. All right, let's head over toward Cherry Mountain Fire District. Sue Price, good morning. You feeling better, I hope?
Good morning, Jim. Yeah, I'm feeling better. I went back to the doctor yesterday. Got another round of medicine, and I hope it's going to knock it up for me.
You're sounding better.
Still coughing a good bit, but I think that's going to be around a while. It's hard to get rid of that cough.
Sure.
I've got 54 degrees this morning, so it's nice out there, and it's not raining right now. That looks good. It rained a lot yesterday. Let's see, I didn't have any calls from the fire department. I have one birthday on my church calendar for Bobby McCraw, so I hope Bobby's going to have a good day. And I think that's the only birthday I have. None of the other calendars have anything, so just one celebrating it. We hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a good day. And the Bible study at Duncan's Creek has been called off for tonight, so we're not having Bible study. I think we've got some sickness, a lot of people sick, and we just hope everybody's going to get feeling better. And that's the only announcement I have, I guess. Jim, it's just quiet and calm move this way, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one.
Thanks very much, Sue, and you keep improving. I'll see you next time.
Okay,
right,
bye-bye.
Cherry Mountain, nice and quiet. We'll check in up in Union Mills here in just a few moments. But let me remind you that those of you who are beginning to experience hearing loss, it's time to do something about it. The earlier you nip that in bud, the better, because you can get something done real quick. And just something suited just for your ear canal. Miracle Ear is a worldwide company, made in America product, and AAA A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. And there are so many features you'll appreciate about Miracle Ear. Talk with Lisa Perry, get that free hearing, Lisa Terry rather, get that free hearing test, and move from there. If it's something that you feel like you need to improve your hearing, she's got a lot of suggestions for you. If you don't think you need to move any further, then there's never any pressure on you. Miracle Ear, and check on that Genius 2.0. You'll find out that indeed that is something to brag about. Well, I'm happy to announce a new business opening in our area. We're excited to announce the opening of Rockin' R Farms, LLC in Ellenboro. Rockin' R Farms is a home of Mama's Farmhouse elderberry syrup, and the opening day is going to be a big one. Come on out and enjoy hot biscuits to sample the honey and sample the molasses from 8 a.m. until 10 a.m. on grand opening day. Take advantage of 50 cents and $1 vegetable plants while they last. Rockin' R Farms will carry produce, plants, flowers, honey, elderberry syrup, and so much more. You got to see it. They're opening May 5th, 8 a.m. until 2 o'clock for the opening day specials. And the regular business hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. And on Saturdays, 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. Now, they're located a half a mile east of Bethel Baptist Church there in Ellenboro. And they'll be opening on the day when they have the big wide town yard sale over there. So it's worth your trip there. It's owned and operated by Steve Reynolds and his wife, Amanda. A great lady. Met her the other day, and it's going to be a really good asset to the area. That's Rockin' R Farms, LLC, 151 Capri Park Drive, Ellenboro. Now we're going upstate Union Mills to get the Kelly Report. Good morning, Brenda Kelly.
Good morning. How are you,
I'm
Mr.
good. How are you doing?
Jim Bishop.
That's right. It's funny how many folks that can turn that around. I'll see them and say, they'll say, Jim Bishop. But that's all right, as long as they recognize me.
That's exactly right. Is the sun shining down there?
It is beginning to shine. I see it shining out there on the highway.
Well, it looks like it's trying to come up over the mountain here, but the fog's moved in here some.
Yeah.
It ain't real bad, but it ain't real good, so it's sort of medium.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be careful.
I think most of our fog's lifted, at least here in front of the station. So.
Well, that's good, yeah. But we hope everybody's having a good day. 8 months from today will be Christmas Day.
Oh, my goodness. Brenda, you could have talked all day and I said that.
I mean, it's hard to believe it. That 4 months is done gone of this year.
We'll have to dig out our Christmas tree and put it back up here.
I hear you.
Maybe we should have left it up.
There you go. A lot of people do.
I know.
Yeah. But I've got 50 degrees on the front porch. We've had 1 3/10 of an inch of rain since yesterday morning. Birthdays today, I've got Anderson Pritchard, Nathan Buckley, Jack B. Brown, Brenda Black, Josh and Karen Morrison, an anniversary. I don't have anything on around here, so we hope all these people have a great old big day on their special day. And in ways of announcements, the girls' class of 1962 is going to have a luncheon at Don's Italian Restaurant, and this is Dutch Treat, and that's on Oakland Road in Spindale, Thursday, April the 26th at 11:30. The buffet is $7.99 with salad and beverage, or you may order from the menu. Then we got a country breakfast Saturday, April the 28th, 7 to 10 a.m., White House Community Center. This is Painter's Gap Road Union Meals. Adults $6, children 6 to 12, $3, under 6 free. And you can get your tickets for our prime rib dinner Saturday, May the 19th. That's $13.50 adult. They're going to have a live band, and tickets must be purchased in advance at Bills Creek Hardware, Cove Corner Store, Specialty Outdoors. You can rent their building for family functions for $50 to $75 per day, and you can contact Maria Durkett at 828-288-6271 or Lewis Gordon at 828-545-7161. Then Union Mills Learning Center on Hudlow Road in Union Mills on Friday, May the 4th. Going to have Bluegrass Tradition meal beginning at 6 p.m. and includes vegetable plate with dessert and drink, and that's $5. And music begins at 7 p.m. and they have a tip jar available for the band. I reckon that's all I got going on so far.
All right, Brenda. Well, that's we're off to a good start on this Hump Day Wednesday.
I'm telling you, if we can just get the sunshine to come in and back to, is it supposed to rain real hard tomorrow?
Well, let's see. Thursday looks like it's going to be about a 50% chance, so it may or may not. It's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
Then 60% Thursday night and 40% Friday, and it starts clearing out of here. Only 20 Friday night and 20 Saturday morning. Most of Saturday's clear, so it's not going to be as heavy as it has been, I don't believe.
Well, that's good, because we've had a bunch of rain.
We sure have. I'd like to see the sun drop some of these mud puddles. I've got 2 swimming pools in my backyard.
I hear you. Well, I seen on 13 News where it was really bad up in McDowell County. A lot of flooding up there.
That's right. Yeah, they had to shut down some campground up there.
Yeah. So we just hope everybody will be careful, and it showed people where it says road closed, coming through it anyway.
I know. Some people just don't believe cow horns are hooked.
You're right.
Brenda, you have a great day up there.
You have a good one. We'll catch you later.
Bye-bye. 7:42 on this Wednesday morning. Braves play tonight against the Reds. They have lost 2 to the Reds now, Monday night and last night, so maybe they'll come back and win tonight. We hope so.
Health insurance is complicated, and with healthcare reform on the way, it's not getting any simpler. If you've got questions, we've got agents. Your local Farm Bureau insurance agent can walk you through the changes and offer you the right healthcare plan with the right benefits for you. Healthcare may be changing, but our superior service isn't. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Well, it's breakfast time for many of you, and you're traveling in your car right now looking for a place to eat. Drop in the drop-in food store right now. Drop in right now, where they've got a special sausage and egg biscuit for only $1.99 and a good hot cup of coffee. S&D coffee for only 99 cents. Boy, that's a good breakfast for a little bit of money. It's a great getting up morning at the drop-in food stores, and they'll enjoy having you stop by any location. And if you're getting ready to do some cooking out, need propane, they've got propane available 7 days a week. And kids, I need you to try that new flavored Sour Patch Red Berry milkshake. Yeah, my goodness, what's that milkshake made back there? Fun. Only $2.98. Remember, veterans, you get 10% off all day, every day, not just once in a while, every day for veterans. Drop-in food in Major Lee Delis or Rutherford County's Veteran Service Only Platinum sponsor. To me, that means a lot. The Drop-In is your hometown convenience store since 1981. So come on, drop in. Did you know that Rutherford County's largest pediatrics practice has 5 providers to serve the children and youth of this area? And even better, Rutherford Children's Care is welcoming new patients. With 3 physicians and 2 mid-level providers, the group is available to examine, diagnose, and treat patients from birth to age 18. Rutherford Children's Care is conveniently located at 162 Commercial Drive in Forest City, just behind Big Dave's Restaurant. To schedule an appointment, call Rutherford Children's Care at 828-287-9325. Luther Gilligan is up next. He's on the platform to give us the news from Ellenboro. Luther, good morning.
Good morning to you, too. It's a nice day down here. A little soggy on the bottom, but hey, the top is pretty good.
Good.
I can play in the mud today, though.
Sun beginning to shine over there?
Sun is shining. I'm shining.
Good.
We're as bright as we can be.
I've often heard the sun shines on the righteous and the unrighteous.
Well, take your pick, which I am. I say one, I say the other. Hey, we won't discuss that point. It's quiet down here this morning. There's nothing happening this morning. In the middle of the week, everybody just trying to get the hump day made, start downhill. Looking forward to the weekend already. The city fire department there had one call last night. I had a power line down, and they stood by on it. Deep power got it taken care of, and everything back good with them, and nothing else happening there. But hey, we're gonna have something going on down here Monday, from 3 to 8 p.m. Monday. Brother will be down here at the fire department. Everybody invited to stop by and donate a pint of blood there. You never know when it may be needed. You never know who might need it. Maybe you it needs it. So stop by and give them something. And then on the first Saturday of May, be May the 5th. Start at 7 o'clock. Town-wide yard sale. I'll sell you my yard if you want it. So if you don't want to have a yard sale in your yard, come on out here on Depot Street. You're going to be sitting out there under the pear trees. Don't sit on the street because we got to keep the street open. The Woman's Club is sponsoring that. They'll be having breakfast biscuits there at the Depot steps. They'll be having brownies, cookies, coffee, and cakes, and drinks and all that stuff. So come on out, have your yard sale. If you don't want to sell, come on out and see what you find to buy. You may find that thing you've been looking for all your life. I can't never tell you, you may find one of these fortunes that everybody thinks is worthless. So that'll be May the 5th. So come on out.
And that Rocket R Farms will be opening that day as well. Just a little down from you there. Rocket R Farms.
Yes, sir.
That Rocket R Farms will be opening that day, too, 1.5 mile east of Bethel Church. They'll be opening that day for a grand opening special.
Yeah, that's right. They're going to be opening that day, too. I forgot about it. So everybody will be invited down to there to check them out, too. So there's something going on everywhere here at May the 5th. On May the 5th, they're going to be having SC Spring Fest or Rolston that day. Or they call it something else now, but I think. But just have a good time at it. And see, we always have birthday day. Mr. Bill Bass is having birthday today, so I hope he has a great day and enjoys his day. Nothing else going on down here, Jim. You have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Luther. Have a good day.
Let's take care.
Time for birthdays and anniversaries on this program today. This is the 25th of April. If you are one of those folks that were born on this date or married on this date, call us now so we can celebrate with you. And somebody whose birthday is called in or anniversary is called in will be in the drawing. Everybody will be in the drawing for the delicious Daylight Donuts from Granny B's. Call now at 287-3356. We've cleared the phone lines for you. 287-3356.
Here's what our customers think about McCurry Deck Chevrolet Buick GMC.
I love my McCurry Deck Buick.
I love my McCurry Deck Chevrolet.
We love our McCurry Deck GMC. We guarantee you'll love McCurry Deck Chevrolet Buick GMC for a city.
I am definitely a McCurry Deck customer for life.
I love the price and the McCurry Deck Customer for Life Rewards program. It gives you up to $3,000 or more in rewards.
Take the easy drive to savings. McCurry Deck for a city. Discover the rewards of being a customer for life.
Hey, here I can tell you how to save $10 on your wheel alignment, front end alignment, if you want to do that. When you go to Ellenberg's garage and have that work done, tell them you heard me talking about him, and he'll give you $10 off your mechanical work at Ellenberg's Garage, 110 Lowing Mill Road, across from the old Gilkey School. Just that simple. They really take care of you up there. They'll have you on the road smooth sailing. If you need tires, they got tires to sell you. They work on your air conditioner, get that flushed out, transmission flushed out, all those things. Get your car running good for the spring and summer at Ellenberg's Garage, and get that $10 off. Just mention us and tell me you heard old Jimbo talking about it real good, and they'll knock off $10 off the bill. And the bill's always fair and square. Phone number is 287-7996. And when you have those creepy crawling things that it's buggy to no end, you find them creeping and crawling, well, they're flying around, well, you can get rid of them. You'll call Hutchins Pest Control at 287-5171. That's 287-5171. You get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control. And they do this. They have they continue doing business the old-fashioned way. Honest, dependable, and on-time service. Hutchins Pest Control. You can depend on them. There's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today. While they're fresh, they're good, they're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Happy birthday. Well, welcome to Birthday Club time here on the program. Let's see who's celebrating, see who's going to win some Daylight Donuts this morning. On this 25th of the month, we have Anderson Pritchard, Nathan Buckley, Jack B. Brown, Brenda Black, and Josh and Karen Morrison's anniversary is today. Carol Thornton, retired from the Spindale School, had a birthday yesterday. Trenton Bowen is 1 over in Sandy Mush. Macy Scruggs is 14, Rutherford student at RS Middle. Jimmy Leach, 17, student at Chase High School. Irene Lopez and Chris and Deidre Lovelace, 20-year anniversary from Golden Valley. I want to wish them a happy anniversary, happy birthday to everybody. And we'll see who's going to win the donuts in just a moment.
One day, Henry Ward Beecher was talking with his father when an acquaintance of the family burst into their home in an obvious fit of anger. He lashed out at Beecher's father for something that he thought the elder Beecher had done. After the man had paused long enough to anticipate some response, Mr. Beecher responded in a low tone of voice. He told the man that he assumed that he only wanted to do what was right in this situation. The man assured him that he did, but he went quickly into another outburst of anger. When the second tirade ended, Mr. Beecher again spoke reassuringly to the man that, of course, the man would want to know the true facts of the case. Maybe there was a chance that what he had heard or perceived was not the way it was. The man quieted long enough for Mr. Beecher to tell him the other side. The whole story made a difference. The once angry man humbly asked forgiveness and admitted that he was wrong. Young Beecher had learned a great lesson about the calming effect of a gentle response, and no doubt the intruder learned an important lesson about overreacting until all the facts are known. The Bible says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." Your response to a contentious person may make the difference in how long and how large the conflict rages. This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living.
And congratulations going out to Macy Scruggs, a 14-year-old student at RS Middle School. Just won the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's. We'll have that certificate right here waiting on you, Macy. Now, coming up next hour, District Attorney Ted Bell will be my guest in the Blue Room, taking questions about his candidacy for re-election. And at 8:30 this morning, of course, Word of Faith Fellowship continues their side of the story right here live in the studio at WCAB.
Well, you got a new dance and it go like this. Yeah, the name of the dance is the peppermint twist. Like this.
For the third time in recent months, a judge has rejected the Trump administration's attempt to terminate the DACA program. But Professor Regina Shaw of the Suffolk Law School says the judge has also given the government more time to make its case.
He's giving the government 90 days to come up with essentially a better reason to rescind DACA.
The U.S. Attorney's Office has announced a new initiative to combat violence and drug crimes in eastern North Carolina. Officials met at Kinston City Hall to discuss a new way to stop crime in the region. United States Attorney Robert Higdon Jr.
We are taking North Carolina back from the drug dealers and violent criminals. We are taking North Carolina back from the doctors and pharmacists who overprescribe and illegally distribute prescription drugs.
The Republican congressional baseball team returned to Simpson Field in Alexandria, Virginia this morning for its first practice since last year's shooting. Team manager Congressman Joe Barton spoke to reporters.
We're going to play the game again this year on June 14th, the anniversary of the practice last year at Nationals Park. We hope this year, on behalf of the Republicans that are behind me, that the outcome of the game is more positive than it was last year.
Governor Roy Cooper spent time with experts this week who have seen the devastating impact of the opioid crisis, sitting down with everyone from law enforcement and medical providers at a roundtable discussion in Haywood County. The governor told WLOS News in Asheville,
I've had too many conversations with parents whose kids have died from opioid overdose. We have to stop this.
A Mecklenburg County Town Council has voted to support legislation allowing it to create its own charter schools. The Matthews Board of Commissioners voted 4-3 on Monday to endorse the bill sponsored by Republican State Representative Bill Brawley. You're listening to NCN News.
How can we meet the aspirations of 10 million North Carolinians? At the University of North Carolina System, we do it by harnessing the strength of 17 transformative institutions working towards a unified goal, prosperity for all. Today, the system is united as never before. 17 institutions, individually remarkable and collectively extraordinary. This is the University of North Carolina System.
Feel the raw power of 40,000 horsepower. Hear the engines scream. The NGK Sparkplugs NHRA 4-Wide Nationals returns to ZMAX Dragway this Friday through Sunday. 4 lanes, 4 wide. See it, hear it, feel it. Every ticket's a pit pass, and 13 and under get in free. The NGK Sparkplugs NHRA 4-Wide Nationals. For tickets, call 800-455-FANS.
The book by the fire director of the FBI is selling like hotcakes.
The occupant of the White House is not a fan, but James Comey's book, A Higher Loyalty, is a hit, selling more than 600,000 copies, including print, audio, and e-books during its first week on the market. President Trump fired Comey a year ago, telling Russian diplomats it relieved great pressure on him. Comey has compared Mr. Trump to a crime boss. The president blasted Comey on Twitter, saying he's a weak and untruthful slimeball who should be in jail. Pam Coulter, CBS News.
A woman accused of trying to abduct babies from neonatal units across North and South Carolina is sharing her story. New Hanover County Regional Medical Center police charged 36-year-old Linda Everett after they say that she entered the Women's Children's Hospital in Wilmington on April 5th without authorization. Everett, who says she's a former firefighter, newlywed, and mother of 3, told WGHP-TV she was there just to hand out baby Bibles.
I did not go in there to try to kidnap any child because I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
A North Carolina city says it has distributed supplies to those affected by a tornado, but now needs financial donations and volunteers. Greensboro Assistant City Manager Chris Wilson says that financial support for those repairing homes or finding new ones is needed most. A rap star leaves prison and heads straight to an NBA playoff game.
A hero
tomorrow's welcome for the Philadelphia-born rapper. He rang the ceremonial bell at his hometown arena before the start of Game 5 of the playoff series and sat courtside next to actor Kevin Hart and Democratic Governor Tom Wolf. After a 5-month campaign by his supporters, the state Supreme Court yesterday ordered Mill freed while he appeals decade-old gun and drug convictions. By the way, Philadelphia beat Miami 104-91. Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Get your message to the thousands. Call the WCAB Sales Department today at 287-3356.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The White House rallying around the man President Trump has picked to head up the VA, despite allegations that Admiral Ronnie Jackson created a hostile work environment and improperly prescribed drugs. ABC's Mary Bruce.
The president says what comes next, whether Jackson decides to stay or go, is entirely up to him. But sources tell us this morning that Jackson has no intention of withdrawing his nomination.
2 Dallas police officers are still in critical condition after a shooting last night at a Dallas Home Depot. A security officer at the store was also hurt. ABC's Marcus Moore with more from Dallas.
The Dallas police officer said the shooting and the dramatic search that followed was like living a nightmare. Those officers who were critically injured underwent surgery overnight, and this morning the police chief is asking people to pray for the officers and their families.
Jury deliberation set to begin today in the retrial of Bill Cosby on sex assault charges. ABC's Mark Remillard is at the courthouse in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
While roughly 60 women have come forward to accuse Cosby of sexual misconduct, there are no other allegations against him in which the statute of limitations hasn't already expired. If convicted on any of the charges, however, Cosby would likely be immediately incarcerated and sentenced within 60 to 90 days.
The Supreme Court today hears arguments over the president's travel ban. A decision is expected this summer. There are more charges against the accused Waffle House killer. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
Travis Reinking already was charged with 4 counts of criminal homicide in the deaths of 3 men and 1 woman shot and killed at the Waffle House in Antioch, just outside Nashville. Now the 29-year-old is charged with 4 counts of attempted murder in connection with the injuries inflicted during that Sunday morning attack. Among the wounded named in those counts is James Powell Jr., who's credited with grabbing the rifle from the gunman and stopping the carnage.
After the 5th straight losing day for the Dow, market futures are pointing down again. The Dow yesterday lost 425 points, and all of this year's gains, they've been erased. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you owe the IRS more than $10,000 in taxes? The government now has tax debt relief programs in place, and you have rights. Call tax representation today. Join satisfied clients like Victoria.
I owe the IRS $32,000. They accepted $300.
She saved $31,700. Leroy owed $21,000.
The IRS accepted $500, and I saved $20,500.
Results may vary, but tax representation can help you. Has the IRS threatened to freeze your bank accounts, take your home, your cars, and garnish your wage? You don't have to fear the IRS any longer if you call tax representation. We are the industry experts with negotiating with the IRS, and one of the very few that has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. We'll contact the IRS the same day, putting a stop to bank levies and wage garnishments. Call the tax representation hotline at 800-295-1046. Call 800-295-1046 today. That's 800-295-1046.
French President Emmanuel Macron goes before Congress today to address a joint session. He is expected to keep up the push to keep the U.S. in the Iran nuclear deal. Thoughts and prayers all over Houston for former President George H.W. Bush as he is treated for a blood infection. There was a vigil last night.
The vigil included singing from the Texas A&M Women's Choir, those who knew and worked with Mrs. Bush at the school sharing their stories.
She, Barr, set the mark. You know, she set a very high standard.
The gathered also said a prayer for former President George H.W. Bush, who is hospitalized with a blood infection.
I hope that George Bush has the strength to pull through, though, because he has his grandchildren and he has everybody here.
A family spokesman says Mr. Bush is responding to treatment and recovering. Ryan Burrow, ABC News, Houston.
Investigators now say the man accused of driving that van down the sidewalk in Toronto, killing 10 people, wounding 15, may have had a grudge against women. They're pointing to a Facebook message left by Alec Manassian just before the attack. New rule of the EPA. Administrator Scott Pruitt is limiting the kinds of science that can be considered when writing new rules. Pruitt is banning what he calls, quote, secret science, saying any research used will also have to make its raw data public. And for those of us who like cheap wine, you might be out of luck soon. Prices are expected to go up after wine production slumped around the world last year. The International Organization of Vine and Wine says 2017 was the worst year in decades. This is ABC News.
A good night's sleep starts with the right pillow. That's where MyPillow comes in, and we're excited to announce the new 4-pack special. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the 4-pack special tab, and save 50% off the 4-pack, which includes 2 MyPillow premiums and 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Use promo code SKY at checkout or call 1-800-635-1825. That's 1-800-635-1825. Or go to MyPillow.com, click the 4-pack special tab, and use promo code SKY at checkout.
I'm Sherry.
Fellow citizens, let's support our sheriff of 7+ years for re-election May 8th. Candidates that talk the talk have to walk the walk, and Sheriff Chris Francis has clearly done the walk. For accountability and proficiency, Sheriff Francis assigned professionals to supervise each division. This, along with training, changing to straight shifts, and upgrading of uniforms for better mobility, has increased arrest and lowered the crime rate. He increased the 1 K-9 unit to 4 and initiated a program in the jail to fight opioid addiction. Because Sheriff Francis cares, he lectures on various crimes such as scams on the seniors, domestic terrorists in churches, and how to safely store and dispose prescription drugs. His leadership and management skills were best described by a highly respected law enforcement professional who said that Sheriff Chris Francis is, without a doubt, the most dedicated, aggressive, crime-suppressing sheriff Rutherford County has had in the last 30 years. Vote for Sheriff Chris Francis, the one with proven experience. Paid for by committee to elect Sheriff Chris Francis.
Hi everyone, this is Karen with the Home Medical Equipment Department at Smith's Drugs in downtown Forest City. I have taken over for Rhonda for the diabetic shoe and mastectomy services offered here at Smith's Drugs. We have a wide variety of shoes that can be ordered for you after we've had your prescription and a recent foot exam. We also have a large assortment of bras, or we can order what you would like in a variety of colors and styles. Please come in and see me at the Home Medical Equipment Department at Smith's Drugs here at 139 East Main Street in Forest City, or you can give us a call at 828-245-4591.
I'm District Attorney Ted Bell. When I was elected District Attorney 4 years ago, I said we needed to be tougher on crime and promised that criminals who break into our homes would receive a mandatory prison sentence. I have kept that promise. Since I took office, we have sent almost 300 people to prison for breaking into our homes, over double the number sent before I took office. As District Attorney, I will continue to do everything I can to fight crime and protect our communities. Please vote for me, Ted Bell, for re-election as District Attorney in the Republican primary on May 8th. Thank you. Paid for by the committee to elect Ted Bell.
Hello, this is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. Are you on disability? Or maybe you're on Medicare? Or maybe both? Come see me, Dwayne Hunt at Insurance Service Associates, about a Medicare Advantage product brought to you by Humana. Please give me a call, 245-5301 at Insurance Service Associates, 127 East Trade Street, Forest City.
More than 1 million Americans have heart attacks each year. And if you or a loved one experiences symptoms of a heart attack, every second matters. That's why the emergency department at Rutherford Regional Health System is a chest pain accredited facility. What does that mean to you? It means quality care here at home that could save precious seconds when treating the symptoms of heart attacks. To learn more about Rutherford Regional and its commitment to safe quality care, visit myrutherfordregional.com.
Our sheriff, Chris Francis, is running for re-election May the 8th, and he is the only candidate who knows the office of sheriff from the ground up. Under his command, the last 7+ years, he has displayed leadership and management skills that has established a professional department. Morale is the best in years, and the crime rate is down. Sheriff Francis is a native of Rutherford County. He has a BS degree in criminal justice and has a sterling reputation in the county and amongst his peers. Give Sheriff Francis and his deputies a vote of confidence for the job well done on May the 8th. Paid for by Ken and Kathy Staggs.
We could see some patches or pockets of fog here and there early today. Otherwise, we'll range between mostly cloudy and at times partly sunny. Should be mild with a chance of some scattered sprinkles and showers, maybe thunder in one or two spots. Highs will reach about 68 to 74. We'll call it fair to partly cloudy tonight with lows in the upper 40s to low 50s. Then on Thursday, more clouds than sun. We could see a few areas of rain later, especially toward the southern foothills. Highs about like today. I'm Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
It is looking good to see that sun shining outside. It's 54 degrees right now, climbing up to 71 for a daytime high, and wind gusts to about 13 miles per hour, but no rain in the forecast today or tonight. Picks back up tomorrow, about a 50-50 chance of showers. Then on Friday, 40% chance. Saturday drops down to 20% chance, and then mostly clear overnight, and clear on Sunday with mostly sunny skies, around 73 with light wind blowing. So the weekend's going to be another good one here in the foothills. And again, right now, 54 degrees and clear skies. Fog should be lifting where you are as well, but in case you run into fog around the area, just be careful, drive slowly, and anticipate what might be around the curve. Well, it's time this morning for our political interviews to continue. My guest this morning is District Attorney Ted Bell. He's in the studio with me to talk about his candidacy. Mr. D.A., good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. Glad to have you. Talk a little bit about yourself. Tell us, first of all, refresh our memory to our audience as well. Tell us about yourself.
Sure. I was an officer in the U.S. Army for about 7 years, was a helicopter pilot, received my undergraduate and law degrees from UNC Chapel Hill. Been a prosecutor in the district attorney's office for over 10 years, actively involved at First United Methodist Church in Forest City. Married to my beautiful bride, Maggie, and we've got 2 wonderful daughters who are 12 and 9.
When did you first decide you wanted to run for DA?
That was probably in about 2013 when I was prosecutor in district attorney's office, and thought that the district attorney's office could do a better job serving the community and looking out for people. And so I spoke with the district attorney at that time. Once I made that decision, kind of talked to him about that, ran for district attorney and was elected in 2014. I took office beginning of 2015, so I've been the district attorney for about 3.5 years now.
What specific skills did you bring into the office of DA?
One of the primary skills I brought was my leadership and management experience from the Army. The district attorney's office has a total of 16 employees in 2 counties, and requires a lot of management expertise and abilities. I've brought my 10 years as prosecution experience as an assistant district attorney. Bringing with me now is about 3.5 years of DA experience, as district attorney experience, actually doing the job and getting the results that I promised when I campaigned 4 years ago. I've got experience running all the courts in the district attorney's office. There's 8 courts over the 2 counties. You've got juvenile court, district court, administrative court, superior court running in both counties. So it's a fairly sizable operation that's going on. We've got proven experience working with all the chiefs of our local law enforcement agencies. We've got 8 total law enforcement agencies in the 2 counties, along with the SBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the folks at Broughton Hospital when we're dealing with folks that are not competent to stand trial, and working with them to get them competent to stand trial. Working with the legislature in Raleigh, because so many things that happen with the legislature frankly most often have a negative impact on our ability to do our job, so it's very important to be working with them on a regular basis. So basically all of those experiences brought together.
You have, you have a former employee that's also running against you. What makes you a better candidate for this job than your opponents?
I would start with my 10 years of prosecution experience and the 3.5 years as district attorney. I would point to the results that we've had in the last 3 years and my track record as district attorney. 4 years ago, one of the things I told folks that I would do is, if you break into a house in our community, you are going to go to prison. That wasn't the case beforehand, and we have sent almost 300 people to prison for breaking into our homes. We have almost doubled the number sent to prison. We have increased the number of habitual felons sent to prison by 250%, and all total we've increased the number of people sent to prison for various crimes by over 500 compared to before I took office. At the same time we're achieving those tough sentences and those tough results, we've also achieved the rank of being number 1 in the state for per capita felony convictions. Not only number 1 in the state for felony convictions per capita, but we have the highest total number of convictions in western North Carolina for felonies. We've got more felony convictions than Buncombe County. We've got more felony convictions than Durham, Hickory, Statesville, all the local areas. So it's not just, we didn't get there by doing it quick. We got there by doing it right. We got there by making sure that the cases were prepared thoroughly. We got there especially by working very closely with law enforcement and working as a team with law enforcement to ensure that the cases that came in were well put together. Law enforcement should get great credit for those statistics of ours because it starts with them, and they do a fantastic job, and we're very grateful to be part of that team because we take what they start and then we kind of run with it to the finish line. And so we're very grateful for all the hard work that they've done that have helped us to put up those impressive numbers. Working closely with, like I said, all the law enforcement agencies in the district, and we've increased our court time by 25%. I was able to, the state allocates our court time. I was able to work with our resident Superior Court judge and with the administrative office of the courts, and we were able to increase our Superior Court time by over 25% and fully utilize all of that court time. But at the same time, it's also important to look at the root causes of these issues. I spend a lot of time working with substance abuse programs. Because, as everybody is aware, we have a very significant substance abuse problem in this district. That is the root cause of most of our crime. So, tough sentences in court is only half of the solution. We've got to stop this at the start, and that's with substance abuse programs, is with reentry programs, addressing the issues that cause these people to come into court in the first place. I've instituted peer support counseling programs. We have a gentleman outside the courtroom who is a former habitual felon, spent many years in prison before he was able to turn his life around, and now he's a tremendous role model for others wanting to break that cycle. And he sits outside of court every day with the table and with materials set up as part of a program that I help initiate, and just is there available for people who are coming out of court and coming into court every single day to say, you know, maybe I'm tired of this. I want to change, but I don't know how. Here's somebody that can help me do that. So there's many facets to protecting our community and reducing our crime rate.
How is the caseload different from McDowell County and Rutherford County?
It's actually very, very similar. I spend pretty much equal amount of times in both counties. The caseload in McDowell, similar crimes. They're plagued by the same drug and substance abuse crimes that we have here in Rutherford. They're plagued by the same property crimes and breaking and enterings that we have here in Rutherford. So the numbers actually are very, very similar, and I was able to, through our legislative representatives, to get an additional prosecutor for McDowell County to help with that caseload. So we now have 4 assistant district attorneys in McDowell as well as 4 in Rutherford, but they're very, very similar. And in fact, one of the things that I've talked about during my campaign is I work very closely with law enforcement to initiate wiretap drug investigations. First time these have ever been done in western North Carolina, and we've done 2 of them with a combined result of a seizure of $2.2 million worth of methamphetamines. But the interesting thing is, especially in the second one, the investigation and the dealers were covering both counties equally. The drugs would come up from Atlanta, they would stop in Rutherford, they would distribute the Rutherford load, and then continue on to McDowell and distribute the rest in McDowell. So we're looking at really a unified district as far as the crimes that we're seeing, the actors that we're seeing cross county lines. We're seeing them in both courts, in both counties. And so it's taking a combined response to it, and law enforcement is working the same way. We meet monthly. All the law enforcement heads from both counties meet monthly to discuss these issues that are crossing county lines.
Should the DA always be in front of the judge trying cases, or should the assistant district attorney carry some of that bucket?
Trying cases is fun. Being in front of a jury, being in front of a judge, that's the fun part of the job. That's kind of like dessert. But before you can have dessert, you got to eat your broccoli. So it's important to make sure everything else is running properly. It would be great to be able to just be in court trying cases. But like I said, we've got 8 courts running in 2 different counties, multiple law enforcement agencies. I think it's very important to be available to talk with victims and witnesses and, frankly, anybody from the community that has a concern or a problem. all of those things take time. Meeting with law enforcement, we had a law enforcement agency that called us and said, can you help us with a training program for search warrants so we can write better search warrants? That takes time. Working with these substance abuse programs, putting these peer counseling programs into place to kind of help cut the crime rate takes time. And all of those are equally important. I believe it would be detrimental to focus exclusively on one of the 8 court systems and ignore everything else. The district attorney is kind of like the CEO. And while the CEO of Lowe's needs to be aware of what's going on in all the departments, I don't think it would bode well for the corporation if the CEO spent all his time in the Far City store in the appliance department selling as many refrigerators as he can. It's an important part of the operation, and it's good for him to be able to do that, on a small level. But to focus exclusively on that would mean other things are getting neglected. I do take Superior Court cases. I've taken everything from homicides down to lower level cases, a lot of very complex fraud and forgery cases, embezzlement cases with 50,000 pages worth of discovery. And I've been fortunate both through preparation and through skills and abilities that most of those cases have pled guilty with no offers. When you walk into the courtroom fully prepared, knowing everything from start to finish and having all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, a lot of times the defense attorneys will realize that they can get a better offer if they just stand up in front of the judge and say, Your Honor, we're guilty, will you work with us? And that's what happens a lot of times. So,
what's the answer to all the school shootings that's taken place around the country? Fortunately, we have not had any here, but what's the answer?
I think one of the things we have to look at with school shootings is the disintegration of the family. We do need more mental health services, but the mental health services haven't changed in the last 20 years, yet school shootings are going up. The family has disintegrated dramatically in the last 20 years. If you look at the school shootings going back historically, I think almost every single one, if not every one, has come from a broken home. Almost everyone has come from a home without a father figure. And all of these boys that are growing up without fathers are growing up without guidance and without leadership and without morals. And if we want to tackle not only the school shooting issue, but the other lack of morals in our society, we need to start looking at supporting the family, supporting marriage, and having a father figure in the family. That's, I think, the primary root cause of these school shootings and these other issues. A child without a boy without a father in the household is 70 or 80% more likely to become addicted to substances and to abuse substances. 70 to 80% more likely to commit crime. We need to get fathers back into the family. We need to stop treating men and women like they're the same and we only need one of them. Men have value, and we need to recognize that, and we need to do everything we can to rebuild the family unit in our society.
We're running out of time, but quickly, any change, if you're reelected, any changes in the department you foresee coming up in the near future?
I do. One of the things that I've been talking with some of the law enforcement agencies about is we're going to kind of focus on some of our drug hotspots and kind of continuing our focus on attacking our drug problem. We're going to start targeting geographically some of our drugs, the hotspots, some of the streets and the neighborhoods where people in our community will tell you there's a huge amount of drug activity. We're going to start targeting them very closely and see if we can't bring a little pain into those areas.
We're quickly running out of time. Wish we had more time, but we always give the candidate the last word, give you an opportunity to say to our listeners the things that perhaps we haven't talked about, or something you want to reiterate again, so this is your time.
Thank you. And first, I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to address you and the audience. I would point to our record. We've done a tremendous job. If you've heard any of my campaign materials, you've heard me talk about it time and time again. We've dramatically reduced our backlog in court. The backlog in court that I inherited is virtually eliminated. We've achieved tough sentences. We've sent people that need to go to prison, and we've worked very hard on tackling our substance abuse problem through the drug investigations that I've mentioned. And I'm just very humbled and honored to have been the district attorney for the last 3+ years, and would be very grateful to the opportunity to continue doing the good work that myself and the rest of the good team in the office have been doing, and would ask for your vote in May. Thank you.
District Attorney Ted Bell, my guest this morning, concluding the series of interviews with the DA candidates in the subject of the primary. We will start coming up on Friday, I believe it is. Let me look here, with the sheriff's candidate. Next interview is going to be the 27th. That is Friday. Joey Brundle, candidate for sheriff, will be my guest here in the Blue Room, and we'll continue that series until they're all over with. It'll almost be time to vote. Ted, thanks for your time today.
Thank you very much. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Here now is Officer King. He gave us the sheriff's report this morning. Here it is again.
In the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Department responded to 105 calls for service. There were 6 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 188 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, Susan Toney from Icebox Drive in Ellenboro reported larceny of a motor vehicle. It was a Isuzu truck, and same was also recovered last night. A Blake Martin from Morrow Drive reported an incident of assault by pointing a gun and communicating threats. A George Landrum from Rooster Ridge in Lake Lure reported a financial card fraud. And a William Cochran from Brock Drive reported assault and battery. And on the assault and battery report, Laura Byers from Maple Creek Road was charged with assault and battery and received a 48-hour hold for domestic violence. Celeste Downing from Florence Road in Forest City was served with failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $4,100 secured bond. It was 4 counts of failure to appear. Arnold Beaver from Brock Drive was served with a warrant for child care in a sex offender home, received a $30,000 secured bond. Daniel Macon from Boiling Springs Road in Mooresboro was served with warrants for possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver a Schedule 6 controlled substance, maintaining a place for controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia, received a $20,000 unsecured bond. And a Emily Macon, also from Boiling Springs Road in Mooresboro, was served with warrants for possession with intent to manufacture, sell, and deliver Schedule 6 controlled substance, maintaining a place for controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia, and she also received a $20,000 unsecured bond. And Nigel White from Icebox Road in Ellenboro was arrested and charged with domestic violence protection order violation and received a 48-hour hold. And that's all we have for the report.
Yes! Now, go to sleep. Staville 360, America's #1 ethanol treatment.
Available where fuel additives are sold.
Who is the North Carolina High School Athletic Association?
We're dedicated educators, coaches, and mentors.
We are over 200,000 student athletes.
We are 413 member high schools from small towns and big cities, anywhere from Murphy to Manteo.
We're your neighbors and friends that put on the striped shirts and officiate the games you love every week.
We are making a difference in building leaders of communities and this nation for the next generation.
Who are we? We are high school. We are the NCHSAA.
The NCAA's Commission on College Basketball has completed its work and is ready to issue a report on how to fix the sport. The commission, led by former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, was formed after federal prosecutors revealed an ongoing investigation into corruption within the sport and charged the group with finding ways to reform and modernize the rules. The group will offer its recommendations to the NCAA today. North Carolina will add Ohio State transfer Antonia Williams to its football team. The school announced yesterday that the running back is transferring with 2 years of eligibility remaining, but he must sit out this fall due to the NCAA rules. The Red Sox season-worst losing streak has now reached 3 games after Curtis Granderson hit a walk-off homer in the 10th inning to lift the Toronto Blue Jays past Boston 4-3. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
We could see some patches or pockets of fog here and there early today. Otherwise, we'll range between mostly cloudy and at times partly sunny. Should be mild with a chance of some scattered sprinkles and showers, maybe thunder in one or two spots. Highs will reach about 68 to 74. We'll call it fair to partly cloudy tonight with lows in the upper 40s to low 50s. Then on Thursday, more clouds than sun. We could see a few areas of rain later, especially toward the southern foothills. Highs about like today. I'm Mike Moss in the Weather Center.
56 degrees currently under sunny skies. Good to see that sun shining. This morning, it's going to be up to about 71 for a daytime high with a wind gust about 13 miles per hour. It's going to be pretty nice today. The rain's coming back tomorrow and Friday, leaving Saturday, and Sunday's going to be nice, mostly sunny with highs around 73. Monday, mostly sunny with highs around 74. And Tuesday, again, sunny skies. So maybe the big heavy rains are behind us and springtime is coming back to us. It's 8:30. This is WCAB Rutherfordton. Welcome to the Word of Faith Responds. Views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the management and staff of WCAB. Now here is Word of Faith Responds.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Word of Faith Response, and thank you again for listening to us. And we have a great program today. We actually have Hetty with us today. Hetty joined our church many years ago. She actually grew up in Holland, and she was here with us on our last program that we had, and she actually shared about some of the AP lies that were against our church last year, and actually her and her husband were in one of these AP articles. They adopted two little boys that are very precious, and there was an article that was done really against our church, against some of these families in our church that adopted, and a lot of false insinuations that somehow they abused the process to adopt children. And so Hetty was here last program and refuted all those lies and shared with you how she followed the protocol, and she has these two wonderful boys that are just doing great. And I asked if she would come back because I actually wanted you to hear more about Hetty. I wanted you to hear how Hetty met Jesus because her testimony is very amazing, and she grew up in Holland and did not know anything about Jesus, didn't know anything about God, had a very rough life. And so you're going to hear today how she met Jesus, and then in the midst of it all, she met her husband in Switzerland, and he's here with us too today. His name is Werner, and he is going to share with you some too as well. So I'm going to turn it over to them. So Hetty, here you go.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, everybody. Yes, like Mark said, I was born and raised in Holland, and my mom was Jewish, and she was a child Holocaust survivor. My dad wasn't Jewish, but we grew up in a very small family. It was just me and my sister. We grew up very much in the world. Our lives are actually only surrounded by entertainment and performance. We never went to church. We never really heard about God. I never heard the name of Jesus till I was at the age of 21 years old. As a very young child, at the age of 4, till about the age of 14, I got strongly involved in gymnastics. It became my very, very life. Gymnastics and sports was my very, very life. It filled out every part of the being of my life. But at the age of 14, my parents divorced and my dad left us. And I was very, very devastated. And I didn't know how to deal with that my dad left us. I turned to grief and I started to rejecting food. I became anorexic and my schoolwork was very neglected. And I lost purpose of life. And finally, I gave up all my hopes and dreams that I built up being a gymnastic in Russia. My whole world was crumbled at the age of 14. At the age of 16, I started a job in a well-known hotel in Holland to get away from home because it didn't feel like home anymore. This was the biggest mistake I've ever made. I got involved in a very, very, very bad relationship. Someone that was very addicted to drugs, alcohol, and was very violent. And he lived in the underground world. For time's sake, I can't go in much details, but less than 2 years, my life was totally destroyed by all kind of things that happened to me in those 2 years. By the age of 16, by now I was 16 years old, and I lived with this person together. I lived 300 miles away from my mom's home, Literally, I became a slave of fear, living with somebody who was very violent and literally demon-possessed. I was threatened often. If you leave here, if you leave me, I will come find you and I will kill you. So there were some dark days in a young life at the age of 16 and 17. It was hell on earth. I felt that I was in a bondage that I couldn't get out of, until I came a little bit closer to the end of myself. One day, I saw myself in a mirror, beat up, full-blown anorexic, a chain smoker by now, ready to take my life. I was 16 years old. In a sudden desperation, a cry came out of my heart. Now you got to understand, I have never heard the name of Jesus. I never prayed. I never went to church. I never knew that anybody ever prayed. I never met anybody. A cry came out of my heart. God, if you're alive, then help me. Get me out of this situation. I remember that was yesterday. Through a miracle that very night, and there are many details that I don't have time to explain, but my mother jumped in the car with a friend. She drove all night long and picked me up in a place where I was hidden from fear. As we came home, I was not knowing how my life was going to be, how my life was going to turn out, or what I was going to do. Life had no worth for me. I cried on my bed. What is it? What should I do? I didn't know what to do. I was so desperate. I did not know what to do. In my heart, a searching was going on, a totally desperation. When I was done crying and got up, I saw a newspaper laying around, and my eye caught an advertising. A family hotel business was desperate for a Dutch girl who was willing to go to Switzerland. A ready visa and a culinary education was included. I remember so clear when I saw it, I knew that's what I'm supposed to do. I could leave the country and having a life with not living in fear anymore. Within hours, I packed my things and my mother brought me to another country, not knowing the language or the people. Another life started it, but the same old hurts and the devastation that I took with me was arrived in Switzerland. Trying to find purpose of life in relationships and nightlife, entertainment, performance, and sports, but facing daily the biggest enemy of my life, the anorexia. I became emptier and emptier by the day, and the chains were on me. I was so bound up. I lived in chains. It got one day so bad, beyond myself, beyond I can handle. I had a job in the Swiss Alps in a ski resort, and I ran into my room. Nothing could satisfy in life. Nothing could cure the pain, the emptiness, and the death that I felt on the inside. And once again, I didn't know not God. I couldn't remember that I ever prayed that God brought me out. I didn't realize all these things. But something came out of me. God, if you are alive, please send me the right husband and make my life right, because I knew somewhere, somehow, things were not right in my life. I was so tormented. I had zero weight on me. I was chain smoking, and I knew I was killing myself, and I was full of fear. It was not 2 days later I met Werner, who sits beside me. He was a backslidden Christian who came weekly to the ski resort where I worked. He started to talk to me about God. I never heard anything about God, didn't even know there was a God. After a few days, Werner took me to his parents' house, and they were Pentecostal people. Not long after that, Werner's dad took me to his little workshop, and he still has his little workshop. He's about 90 years old. And he asked me if he could pray for me. Now, I really want you to understand this. I have never heard a prayer. I have never heard the name of Jesus. I was 21 years old. I came from the world, and I've never experienced this before. But as Werner's dad prayed, I just wept, and I wept. I was so touched that somebody would care about me. Werner's mom, she told me years later that when she saw me the very first time, that she cried and cried and prayed for my salvation. Shortly after this happened, we got the invitation to a tent revival meeting. I've never heard about the tent revival meeting. And a powerful German preacher got up and he preached against sin. He preached about heaven and hell and about Jesus dying on the cross for our sin. This was so unreal to me. I've never heard that a man named Jesus who went to the cross and died for my sin. I couldn't believe this. I never heard this ever before. This was the very first time I heard the gospel. I sat there and wept over my sin. My life felt like filthy rags. And I told God, I want you in my heart. I want you in my life. And for the very first time in my life, an unknown peace came into my heart that I never experienced before.
And when she had all this change in her heart, I could recognize at home when she looked at me the first time with eyes I never saw. I mean, her face was changed. I mean, you recognize that her life totally turned around, and I was so grateful. And one thing then happened one time. She said to me, "Werner, you need to repent about, I think about backsliding. You talked about it." And I thought, how can she say that to me? I'm growing up in a Christian home, and we never heard actually, you need to repent. You repent when you get, if you get saved and you come to Jesus. And I thought, how she doesn't know me really. And eventually I could recognize how God tried to speak through her to me, get my life straight and get my life right with Him again. And it was just a blessing to see that. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing what God did to her.
Yes. And while I was sitting there, it was brought back to my remembrance that I prayed the prayer, God, if you're alive, then send me the right husband. Because I didn't really knowingly pray that, because it came out of my heart. And we married 6 months later in the Pentecostal church and became members of the church. But soon left after that to the Bible school, because we knew I both had a call of God on our lives. And we really wanted to search and serve God. So things seemed to be better for me at that time. But during this time, I had a miscarriage that brought more hurt into my life. And I couldn't really deal with the loss of a miscarriage. And another episode broke into my life of not eating and drifting away from my new started relationship with God. During the years of Bible school and training, I received a lot of knowledge about God, but my heart was left empty. Something was missing in my life and in Werner's life too, and we felt like something was wrong. One day I just fell out of my knees and asked God, what is it? What's missing in my life? And the Holy Spirit spoke to me a scripture. And this is a scripture that I've never seen before, and this is in John 5:30, where Jesus says that He couldn't do anything without the Father. He couldn't do nothing without God. And in that moment, my whole life passed me by, and I saw that I have lived my whole life apart from God, that I didn't even know Him, and that He did not live on the inside of me. And I realized I had no deliverance from my past. And I realized I had such a need for God. And in my heart, all what I did is I wailed out to God. And I realized that I was just acting like the people in the Bible. The Israelites, when they had a need, they cried to God with everything in them. They prayed to God, and God saved them each time they prayed. And I felt myself in the same place doing the same thing. And I started to experience Jesus, and He became so real to me. Now, in the church where we came home from Bible school, in the church where we were, Werner was a youth pastor by now and a preacher in the church. And slowly a controversy grew. I told everybody out of my excitement that I just gotten born again, and that I just experienced God. And everybody in the church told me, no, you gotten born again way back before you went to Bible school. And deviations start coming up, and they thought that we deviated from the teachings. And we didn't, but we just experienced Jesus in a whole new way. And as the associated pastors nationwide had different meetings, the meetings starting turning against us. During this time, we were in a very large European pastor conference in Berlin. We were gathered about 2,500 pastors from all over, all kind of different directions and dominations. They came together. And it was called out in the meeting there was a new cult going on in the United States, and we were warned about this cult. and that this colt, supposedly colt, which wasn't a colt, but was found by a lady named Jane Whaley. I was called out in a little bit later on in public and was told that I was practicing a cult just like her, and that I belonged to the group in the United States. Now, at that time, I really didn't pay any attention to the name or the group that they accused me and her of, because I didn't really know these people. And it wasn't truth anyway. And I never met these people, and I was never in the United States. I never had contact with anybody in the United States.
Did you even know who they were talking about? They mentioned Jane Whaley in this pastor's conference. Did you even know who she was?
No, I didn't know, because I was not really big into informing myself, about what was going on. I never knew. Actually, I'll tell you a little bit in the story later. 7 years later, when I got to meet her the first time, we talked a little bit, but I still not really realize that it was her they were talking about. But then later on, after a few weeks, all of a sudden I remembered Jane Whaley. That's her. That's what they told me. That's what they accused me of. And I came later here, not knowing where I was going. But I'll tell you the story in a little bit. So, among all the people, I couldn't find anybody that understood the experience and the searching in the different churches and different places. I couldn't understand what really happened to me. And I saw the difference between not experience Jesus and experience Jesus, and there was such a controversy, and I couldn't find the truth. So I start crying out to God, God, where is truth? Where is a people? Where is the church? I started reading in Acts. Where is this church that wants to live in truth? Where is this church that prays like I see in the Bible, like Jesus did? Jesus wailed out and cried out to God. And it became a heart's cry. Is there anybody out there? Is there anybody? But in the meantime, I didn't know how to deal with my own baggage that I still had with me. I was still full of problems, and I got a stronger episode of anorexia, and this time my body really started to fail me. My organs didn't function anymore, and I was on high dosage of medication that could kill me any day, and I really needed to take the medicine, but the medicine didn't really work for me, and so I was in the struggle of fighting for my life, and the doctors in Switzerland couldn't help me, and on the end they just said, you have probably 3 months to live, and there's nothing left for you. There was no life and there was no strength left in my body. So in that groping of that hope, I opened my Bible, and that one day when I read my Bible, I opened the Bible to a scripture from Hezekiah. And Hezekiah was a king in the Bible, and he was deadly sick. And he had the judgment of God on him that he would die. And the man turned to the wall and he prayed. And you can read that he wept before God. And God spared his life and gave him 15 more years. And that became like a spark of hope to my heart. Could God really heal me? The next morning I woke up and I was compelled by the Spirit of God to drive to Germany, 6 hours away, to visit the church. Little did I know what God had in store for me. There was a healing service going on, and an American preacher came to speak. She was a lady, and when she saw me, she says, I'm going to pray for you. You can understand this was a crowd of 1,000 people. I took the very last seat in this church because I really didn't know what I was getting involved with, and I was very, very drawback at that time. And when she got up there and she went up to me and says, I will pray for you, I knew that God had something in store for me. And so to make the story short, this person, after we got to talk, after the service, knew about the church, a church in North Carolina called the Word of Faith, which I didn't know at the time. And she says, why don't you seek help? There's help for you. I know you will have a big deliverance. Please go there. And within days, I got half dead on the plane.
And I was so grateful to know that my wife can go somewhere where we get help. Because if you think, I was a pastor, sometimes even preach 3 times on a Sunday, but eventually I could not help her. I recognized I'm on a point. I don't know what to do. Something needs to be happened. And when I heard that she can go to the United States, I was so glad that it was just the hope that came to me that there's a chance, because I don't know how to explain really here how sick she was. I came home many times from work. She had the blanket over her head, and you just saw a white face, and it's just really a dead person in that bed. And it's even a miracle that she could go on the plane and come over to the United States. And for me was that situation to go to the United States, that's a big step when you live in Switzerland. It's a very far step, and I didn't know really where she's going, but I just trusted God that she gets the help she needs for her life, unless she would not sitting here now. She would not sit here.
And, you know, when I got to the Word of Faith, the people were so lovable. The people prayed for me. They helped me day and night. And I was so sick. All what I can do is go to church and go to bed. That's all what I did. And, you know, we are so persecuted for the strong prayer. But let me tell you something. If there are so many people that pray for you, they don't even know you, but they know you have a need. And God knew that only He could help me through the prayer and through the prayer of God's people. And really, if you see the prayer that Jesus prayed in the Bible, the strong, loud praying, the wailing out to God, I mean, it was the prayer that set me free, and it was the prayer that got me healed and delivered from that baggage that I had carried all my life from the day that my dad left. All the things that happened, the fear that I lived in all these years, and the health and the restoration that came back to me. Day after day, the more I stayed, the longer I stayed, the better I got. It was maybe a few weeks later that I realized, wait a minute. They accused me of being in a cult years ago. This was the place that God picked for me to be healed, to be set free, to bring me here, to save my life. God didn't bring me to a cult. He brought me to a place where God's people and God could love me and help me. I mean, God brought us together. We felt led later on to come here to be in the ministry, to be a part of this place where God has helped us. He healed our marriage. He blessed us beyond. And today we can say we have a life with health, peace, free from torment. We live a happy family a happy life together as a family. And we were restored in every area of our lives. And God gave us, on top of all this, a beautiful home, a beautiful new business, 2 beautiful children. And what more can you ask for? What more can you ask for? God restored us and brought us to a wonderful church, a loving, caring family. And we left houses and land, but God gave us way beyond we ever could imagine or dreamed. Somebody recently told me, and I love this, and I've been reading the scriptures again, I've forgotten about all this, but somebody told me recently, you know, Hetty, your life reminds me of the life of Job. Job's life was totally destroyed. His life was destroyed. His family's life was destroyed. He lost his children, just like I did. And he lost everything, and we lost everything. And God gave us everything back and way beyond, twice as more. Even with the children, we lost 1 child, but God gave us 2 children. And, you know, and let me tell you something. And Jane Whaley didn't know at this time, but when my children came in our lives, I totally have forgotten about it. But when I came here with my broken life, she told me one thing. She said to me, she says, Hetty, your life is broken. She says, but you know what? God will give you twice as much. And isn't that the truth? God gave me twice as much. He gave me everything back in my life. He restored our marriage. He restored our family. He gave everything. And we are so grateful to God. So grateful that I didn't have to live in torment, in fear, and so grateful to God for God's people. I will never leave this place. My children would never leave this place. We absolute love this church and are very, very grateful for everything they have ever done in our lives.
And it's sort of interesting. When I was a young boy, I thought I will never go to the United States. I go everywhere in the world, but not the United States. But when you think how God has the plan for your life and how He has the ways for your life planned out in every detail, and how He has blessed us here, gave us everything, I mean, it's just beyond what you can ask. And I'm so grateful you let us share that, Jim. Appreciate it a lot.
And Werner, we just have a few minutes left, but I just wanted to hear a little bit. I know it's amazing how God just had His hand on both of you in Switzerland. Your wife, you're seeing your wife go through all these problems. You're a pastor, but yet you see her with these problems in her past, and you don't know how to help her, but yet there was a prayer in your heart and a prayer in Hetty's heart, and God just took both of you and put you right where you needed to be to get the help you needed. Yeah. I just want to hear a little more from you. Some of the things that God did in your heart as you came here to the Word of Faith Fellowship. I know you were a pastor in Switzerland, but share with them just a couple of minutes, just some of the things that God's done in your heart personally with Jesus since you've been here at the Church Word of Faith Fellowship.
I grew up in a Christian family, and I was grateful for that. And 16, 17, I want to go and serve God. And I did. And with 17, I had a very, very intense experience with God. Very, very intense. And that kept me all over this time where I backslid. And I knew there's a living God. I had never, ever questioned after what God did in my life, or when I experienced Him so strong. And my heart was always to serve God. But eventually, there was a time in my life, or actually it was a part of my life where I was not settled where I am. I lived in Switzerland. I was born in Switzerland, in the richest county, one of the richest counties in the world. And we had really everything. And the most beautiful country, but somewhere I had not that peace. And I struggled with that. And I prayed the way I knew to pray. But when I got over here, I just saw how God has a whole other dimension to live with God. I mentioned before also about the repentance. I mean, today, I can say I'm a changed man in that thinking. I mean, when you think you don't repent anymore after you repent when you came to Jesus. I mean, that deception in me to believe that strongly, I didn't hear that actually in my family, where I lived as a pastor, as a child, listening to the preaching. I did not hear that. And that was so foreign to me. And now, God really changed my heart in that area, as an example. And repentance is every day. Where we need to be open in that sense, to repent and say, Jesus, forgive me. I didn't have a hold on that, or I didn't do that right, or I could be sweeter with, with my wife, or whatever. I mean, that's a tremendous change in our life, if you can get that. I mean, I'm not taking that for granted.
That's great, and thank you for sharing that. One of the things that really just blessed me hearing your testimony was how, even though there was some knowledge of God, there was a place in your heart where you really just wanted to make sure you had that relationship with Him. And all of the struggles that you had, Hetty, the solution was really coming to that relationship, that heart relationship with Jesus. A lot of times what we've seen is that we can have a knowledge of God, but God wants to have a relationship with us. And what I'm hearing with both of you is that God brought you to a place where you could have a deeper real relationship with Jesus himself. So many times we've grown up and we hear about God, but God wants us to know him personally. And when you know Jesus personally, everything, all of our problems that we have, when you have that relationship with him, the real relationship with him, all of the depression and the fear, the anorexia and everything that you were going through, Jesus can come and heal you because you have that personal relationship with him, and he's a part of your life, and he hears your prayers, and he takes care of you. And so it just blesses me to see how God led you so that you can really know him. What a great testimony that was. And I know God's blessed both of you so much. And I know your two boys that we shared about last program, they are some of the greatest little boys, some of the happiest little boys I've seen. They're always smiling. So what a great testimony. And we just thank you again, listeners, for hearing this testimony today. This is Word of Faith Responds. And we encourage you to go to our website. Our website is wordoffaithfellowship.org, and you can listen to all our radio programs. We have done this now for over 4 months, and we have a lot of encouraging testimonies. We have a lot of truth about our church, so please go to our website, and thank you very much.
I'm Sherry Preston. Deliberation day for the jury in the sex assault retrial of Bill Cosby. He just walked into the courthouse. ABC's Mark Remillard is there in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Even though the jury will get the case this morning, that doesn't mean a verdict may come today. In Cosby's first trial, jurors